today's news.
Trump trial closing arguments.
The prosecutors have to put the pieces together for the jury.
Outrage over deadly Gaza attack. Travel turmoil.
The most awful flight I've ever had.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup. A big day in court for Donald Trump.
This is a dark day in America.
His assessment heading into court, closing arguments today in his criminal trial. CBS's Matt Piper.
The trial has lasted 6 weeks with more than 20 witnesses. Former President Trump allegedly signed off on a scheme to illegally falsify records with the goal of covering up a hush money payment made by his ex-lawyer Michael Cohen to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Legal analyst Laurie Levinson.
The prosecutors will say these payments were made not to just protect Trump's family from hearing about an affair, but really to protect Trump as he was coming upon this election. I think the defense is basically going to say to the jury, these witnesses are not worthy of your belief.
At the courthouse, a huge line of media and everyday people hoping to get a seat in the courtroom at any point during the day. Unless things go very quickly, jury deliberations are expected to start tomorrow, which means we could have a verdict by then too. Matt Piper, CBS News, New York.
Now overseas, where witnesses report Israeli tanks have made it to the center of Rafah, the city in southern Gaza. It's been the focus of concern and Israeli military attention for weeks. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb says it comes after an attack that killed civilians.
It's being called the Tent Massacre after Israeli warplanes targeted a safe zone for displaced civilians on Sunday night in the southern city of Rafah, where bodies were burned and mutilated beyond recognition. The devastating attack triggered spontaneous protests across the globe. Demonstrators took to the streets from Tunis to Paris to New York, demanding an end to the bloodshed in Gaza. Prime Minister Netanyahu has called the killings of at least 45 Palestinians, mainly women and children, the result of a tragic malfunction. International condemnation of the brutal attack was swift and blunt.
Today, three nations that took a bold step last week are formalizing their recognition of a Palestinian state.
Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez insisting the decision by Spain, Norway, and Ireland to recognize an independent Palestinian state is not an attack on Israel or a defense of Hamas.
This decision reflects our absolute rejection of Hamas, a terrorist organization who is against the two-state solution.
Israel's foreign minister, though, accused Spain of complicity in, quote, inciting genocide against Jews and war crimes. Spain, Ireland, and Norway planning a, quote, firm response to that. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
East Coast storms upended the trip home for a lot of Memorial Day travelers. Coming off a weekend of severe weather in the midsection that was blamed for at least 23 deaths. Here's CBS's Roxana Saberi.
Torrential hail in Texas and severe wind up and down the eastern seaboard hampered many of the estimated 44 million people traveling over the long holiday weekend. You were supposed to get home at what time?
Today at like 7. Yeah.
And instead you're getting home
Tomorrow at midnight.
Brianna Hernandez and Candy Roman came to New York to sightsee, but their flight home to Houston was one of nearly 600 canceled nationwide.
Was this trip worth it? Right now, no, yeah, I mean, I would rather be at home with my kids.
More than 8,000 flights were delayed Monday, crippling many major airports.
In a New York Times op-ed, Melinda French Gates says she'll donate $1 billion over the next 2 years for people and organizations working on behalf of women and families around the world, including on reproductive rights in the U.S. She will leave the foundation she formed with her ex-husband Bill Gates, she says, now to set her own agenda. 4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. Today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. It's 58 degrees in Tracy, California.